Yay Media Group.
In our whole family, this is a thing. If someone is happy about something, all we say is that ma.
You don't even need to keep going with it. I know.
It's all like the whole family. Even I think my 10-year-old granddaughter started doing it a little bit.
Wait, what is that from?
It's from Tropic Thunder. It's a Ben ism in Tropic Thunder as Simple Jack. Yes.
Yes.
That's so good. We should use that.
Hey dude, I think the 90s are calling.
Hey everyone, welcome to Hey Dude, the 90s called. I'm Christine Taylor, and I am here with my partner in nostalgia, David Lasher. Hi, David.
That's me. What's up, Christine?
My partner in nostalgia. I love
partner.
it. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to wish you and Ben a happy big anniversary.
Thank you.
Is it called the Golden? What is this one called?
I think it's officially, well, we celebrated 25 years and our joke is there's an asterisk because, we had a very sort of well-publicized separation, but the asterisk, we never got divorced. We were always together working through things. And so I put that out there because, we did work through things and we got to celebrate 25 years. So it was really, really great.
Yeah. What'd you guys do?
We did a sort of like staycation in the city and we got a really fun little hotel room and did room service. But we went out to see the movie. First of all, we never have time to go to the movies with schedules and working. And I mean, we did see a movie we saw Warfare like a month ago or something like that. But we went out and we saw Sinners.
I heard that's so good. It was?
Oh my God. I highly, highly recommend it. It's not your typical vampire movie, but it is a vampire movie, but it's so much more and it's visually stunning and it is, cool.
I love Michael B. Jordan.
Oh my God. He's amazing in this movie.
Yeah, what a great actor.
I cannot recommend this movie highly enough. Like it is, if you can see it in the theater, go see it in the theater. Like it is.
Was it a theater where like the chairs go back and your legs go up?
Yes. One of those recliners.
The theaters have become so comfy.
So comfy. You get your seats ahead of time. And it also stay through all the credits. That's all I'm going to say. Don't leave through the credits. Stay until the very, 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 very end. And what a treat. What an amazing movie. I feel like it should win awards. And Ben and I were blown away. And it was like the perfect way for us to celebrate.
Yeah, just doing something that you don't have time to do.
Exactly.
Well, happy 25th anniversary.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Okay, well, speaking of sort of anniversary people, a show that recently celebrated its 50th anniversary was Little House on the Prairie, and we have the iconic Melissa Gilbert, Laura Ingalls herself, joining us today. And let's welcome her in. I can't wait to chat with her. Welcome, Melissa Gilbert, to our podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. This is going to be fun. I hope.
It is because this is all about nostalgia. I mean, we cover the 90s. We love to talk about the 90s because of that decade, but because you have such an extensive career, we're going to have to go back a little bit because you have been in this industry and doing this, and your face, it's like we all grew up with you, which I'm sure you hear all the time. Like, I feel like you're my sister.
I love that. It actually doesn't get old.
It doesn't get old, right?
Everybody's sister, right?
Right.
Yeah. Or fishing friend to go fishing with.
It's so nice to meet you, Melissa. I feel like I've known you my whole life. You have that face.
It's the same. Face. It's just a little squishier.
You look exactly
the same. It really is the same. I mean, you just are like, and that smile, that infectious smile, and it's just, you're our girl. So we always like to start a little bit of like the craziness of how you got into this industry and just a little bit of your backstory, because there's so much to talk about. And I'm sure you've talked about it a million times, but how did it all begin as little Melissa?
Little tiny Melissa, teeny tiny. My whole family kind of goes back multi-generationally. My father was a stand-up comic and a singer and a dancer and an acrobat in the circus as a child himself.
Oh, wow.
Parents, his dad was a vaudevillian. His mother was a French trapeze flyer. My mom was an actress. My mom's dad, my grandfather, created The Honeymooners. He was a comedy writer.
Oh my God. I just found that out and I can't even believe that.
It's blowing our minds.
I grew up with a family full of comics. Even my godparents, Mitzi McCall and Charlie Brill, are stand-up comedy duo.
It's in your blood.
And so it was in the family. And then oddly enough, I'm adopted. It was also my birth family. My birth mother was a dancer. My birth father was a musician. So it was sort of in me and then around me. I was adopted at a day old. And when I was about 2, a family friend said to my mom during one of my living room performances, which were...
Oh, yes. As all of our children have done.
Yes. She should do commercials. And my mom said, no. And my mom's friend said, yeah, you should find her an agent. And that's literally how it started. It started with my first commercial when I was 2 for Carter's baby clothes.
Wow. Your first acting job was 2 years old.
Was 2 years old. I had my after card then. This is when the unions were not merged. And then I got my SAG card when I did, this is going way back in the Wayback Machine. My first dramatic role was in an episode of Gunsmoke.
Oh, wow.
That is going back.
It's going way back. Yeah.
But that's the 60s.
Do you even have a memory of it? Of being on Gunsmoke or?
Catherine, I always forget which Catherine it was, Damon or Helmond. Catherine Damon, I think. The one who was on Who's the Boss. That was Catherine Damon, right?
No, that was Helmond.
Helmond. See, I told you.
It's okay.
Anyway, she played my mom. And there was a scene where they came and dragged my dad out of the house. I think my character's name was like Little Miss Scraps or something. And they dragged my drunken father out. And I remember clearly watching her prepare for this scene because I'd never seen an actor do that. She was kind of crouched down in the corner, kind of like focused and getting ready to get this like, hysterical moment while they're taking her husband away. And then I run and she had to catch me. And I remember really clearly. Beyond that, that's it. But I do remember that. And I think I was maybe 7.
Yeah.
Wow. But so you understood how to be on a set, how to hit your mark.
Well, by then I'd done so many commercials that I knew. Yeah, that part for sure.
And did you enjoy that performative? Like when the camera was there, did you get nervous? Did you just feel like that was it? Like I'm made for this. I love this.
It was instant. It just, it was like in my DNA. I just knew what to do and I was happy doing it. I'm still happy doing it. It's of all the jobs I have and have had, acting is still my favorite. And it was instantaneous. And I just wanted every job I went in for. My brother acted too. My younger brother is 3 years younger, but he wasn't as zealous about it as I was. I wanted every audition that I went on. I wanted to go in there. I wanted to nail it at whatever the product was. Such a whore. It was my favorite thing in the whole world, whether it was mustard or deodorant. My dad uses that, or, oh, that's my favorite mustard. Whatever it was, I would lie. I would make things up just to get a part.
Because you wanted it, right? I mean,
I wanted it.
A lot of kids are kind of pushed into it. I love to hear that you were chasing it.
Yeah, my mom actually was a little bit embarrassed because sometimes, the casting directors would come out and I will have been in there going, I love that toothpaste. That's it makes my mouth so fresh. And then they come out and look at my mom like, what did you make her do? And then I report. And it was never her. It was all me.
I mean, that's what it takes though. Like, Christine's daughter is a professional actress now. And I have a 15-year-old who's more of an influencer. But they keep sending her scripts and she'll kind of do it halfway. And I'm like, listen, if you're not going to do this and want to do it, there's 100 others that are working on this all week, you know?
Yeah. And it's also super important to love it because it's really not the easiest thing in the world to do, especially for a kid. It interrupts life. It changes your life. And if you're not going to have fun and you don't want to be there, there's no place more miserable. I mean, we know all the stories of the kids whose parents pushed them.
Yeah.
And then, they ended up really messed up later on, unfortunately.
Exactly. Yeah. So, exactly.
Yeah.
How old were you when you auditioned for Little House? Like, where did that fall in the timeline?
I was probably around, I was 9 when we shot the pilot. So I was probably around 8.5, somewhere in there, maybe a little older. I had auditioned. They were going to do a remake of A Miracle on 34th Street, which I loved. And I had auditioned for that and I didn't get it. And I was really sad. And I remember my dad, I was sitting in the garage. My dad used to build furniture when he wasn't on the road, when he wasn't working. And so I was in his tool shop, in his shop. And he said to me, listen, just because you didn't get this, it's okay. It just means something better is going to come along. And I remember crying and saying, there's nothing better. What's better? And like 2 weeks later, Little House on the Prairie. So
right. My mom used to always say that to me too. When one door closes, another window opens. And in real time, you don't want to hear that ever. You're like, it's awful. I feel terrible. Let me feel terrible. There's nothing good that's going to come of this. And you're absolutely right. It's so true. And sometimes it's 2 weeks later. Sometimes it's a year later. But that's the way the universe looks out for you. I really feel like that was meant to be.
Exactly.
Very spiritual way to approach it.
We try. It's not perfection. I mean, it's still sometimes rears its ugly head if there's something I really want and I audition for it and I don't get it. I'm bummed, but not for as long because at this point I'm so old. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just stay home.
Was it like a nationwide search, like hundreds or thousands of young actresses reading for that?
Yeah, it was one of those come one, come all kind of things. And, my mom was really smart about this stuff. When I auditioned, there was no primping. She left me alone. I'd get the sides for whatever it was, and we'd read them just to make sure I knew them. But there was no coaching. The only thing she ever told me was to listen. That's all.
Uh-huh.
To listen to whoever I was acting across from.
The best acting advice.
Yeah, it's really the only advice you need.
Yeah, it's the best. It still applies. Yep. It's the most important. It's the most important thing. And then she'd pick me up from school and take me to an audition, and I'd change out of my uniform because I went to private school. I went to Buckley.
Oh my gosh, my kids all went to Buckley.
Oh Lord,
that's so funny.
I went to Buckley my whole school career. That's another conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say your whole school career, but you were working the whole time. So yes,
more or less. Yeah, I had 2 careers at the same time.
Right.
I would change into my audition uniform, which was just overalls and a flannel shirt and tennis shoes. And whatever dirt was on my face at that time or food or whatever, it was just left there. My mom would throw my hair into pigtails and then I just go in and sit on the floor and do my homework until they called me in. And that's what happened with the Little House audition. The first audition, it was like a room full of girls with their moms primping and making barrel curls on their fingers, and straightening their pinafores. And I came in all raggedy and dirty and messy. It worked.
Like the character.
Yeah, very much so.
But you only said you were sorry we didn't have a good watchdog anymore.
Well, sometimes people say things they don't mean. I just couldn't find the words to say what was in my heart half time.
Very wild, very, very just kind of very kid-like. I don't remember this, but I remember the co-executive producer, Kent McCrae, telling me this a couple of years ago that on one of my callbacks, my second or third callback, as I was leaving, they stopped me in the doorway and they asked me how tall I was. And I turned around and said, I'm this tall?
You don't know numbers. You don't know like 4'2" 2 at that point. You know, like what? Who knows numbers when you're
like
8 years old?
Closest thing I know at that time was that I was so excited because I was a size 6X.
But most young actresses are like, I'm 5'1", I weigh 100 pounds, and I'm from this town, and I can sing, I can dance, and I can juggle.
Exactly.
Those are my special skills, right?
Your special skills, yeah.
I can trip on my way in the door. That's about it. That was about it for me. Want to see me color? I mean, I was just a kid. I was just a kid who wanted the part.
Were you just elated when you got it? I mean, did you really want? Was that one you really wanted?
Well, actually, yeah. Oh, I really, really wanted it because I thought it was going to be the best adventure ever, and it wasn't. It didn't register with me that it was a series. It was a movie, and I found out really unconventionally because I was at school one day and I was in the lunch area, and this girl in an upper grade walked over to me and she said, "Are you Melissa?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." And she said, "I'm Leslie Landon. And my dad says you're going to be half pint."
Oh my! Michael's daughter?
Michael's daughter.
Oh wow!
Stop it.
No cell phones, obviously, back then. So I run screaming to the office and tell them I have to call my mom immediately. My agents didn't know yet. My mom didn't know yet. Leslie got in so much trouble.
Oh my God.
We've been really close friends ever since that day.
You were like, "Mom, ask for more money. Ask for more money."
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So Michael was just home talking about who was going to be in the cast, and it was a private conversation.
Yeah, like around the dinner table. Well, we found our Laura, blah, 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 blah. And she just marched right up to me at school.
Wow.
I love it.
Classic.
Kids
Wow.
have, no filters.
No. And that was just the beginning of a friendship that was filled with a lot of misadventures and adventures too for now 50 years or more.
I love Misadventures.
So you thought it was a 2-hour movie, and then when did you find out, oh no, this is going to be a series?
After the movie aired, I don't remember the moment, but I just remember my mom saying, "We're going to go make more. You have a wardrobe fitting." And I was like, "Wait, more? Okay."
Oh, nice surprise.
Yay. Sure. I mean, let me tell you that shooting that first 2-hour movie too was any remotely adventurous kid's dream because there was just the family. So there were just 5 of us plus Victor French, who played Mr. Edwards, plus a couple of Native American characters. And that was it. So there were like a maximum of 6 people at any given time. We were on location the whole time in Northern California, in Stockton, California, and Sonora. There were cows, horses, ponies, baby horses, dogs everywhere.
Gosh.
Other kids to play with. The twins that played baby Carrie were 2. So I had these 2 little babies to play with all day long. I got to dress up. They taught me how to use a real button hook to button my boots. It was so much fun. And Michael Landon was just a great boss, mentor, and a really wonderful, very mindful of the kids on the set. And very kid friendly. I mean, it was still the 70s. There was a lot of stuff going on with the adults that we weren't
privy to.
No, we've actually now read it in each other's books over the years. And now I know what the adults were doing.
Isn't it fun to find out later? You're like, oh, that was that weird memory where they all went off. And Melissa, what was the age difference between you and Melissa Sue? Was she like an older sister figure to you? Did they all become like family? Did you guys all have those kind of relationships, like siblings?
Kind of. She's a couple years older than me, and for some reason, we just never really gelled, sadly.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, we tried, and then, I don't know, I'm not really sure what it was. I kind of chalk it up to a little bit of parental stuff.
Yep.
Was she the mean girl, the blonde girl?
No. Her, Allison Arngrim, who played Nellie and I were like sisters.
Yeah.
Oh, she was fat. She was so good at that, playing that.
And she was the best.
Girl.
You love to hate her. And that's usually with those characters, they're the ones that are in real life the most lovable,
the nicest,
funniest, the best, because they have a sense of humor. They get it. They know how to play that. So I love to hear that.
Yeah, I actually think, I mean, now that I look back on it, Allison and I used to sleep over at each other's house all the time. And I never even went to Melissa Sue Anderson's house. So that should be an indication of where the relationships sort of were.
Yeah.
And I will say this, though, sometimes in my experience, I find that those combative relationships, especially the ones that are physical on film, you really have to like each other more and trust each other more, not to hurt each other, even more than the romance and lovey stuff.
You're right. There has to be a trust, like an inherent trust that we're going to go for this and we've got each other's backs, right? Not that somebody's going to accidentally put a foot in front of you and you're going to really trip.
We beat the crap out of each other for years, down hills in mud.
A lot of hair
so
pulling.
physical. I remember that. And that was what made it so great, because they don't do that today on television.
You can't.
That would be considered bullying. That would be considered encouraging bullying, or that, you know what I mean? That would be the person that. But to have a series regular or a guest, she was probably a recurring role at the beginning, but then was she a regular? Because to have
pretty
a
much,
character.
Yeah. I mean, I think I had stuntmen teaching me how to punch, when I was 9. I learned how to throw a haymaker so I could, miss, and she learned how to take a punch.
Oh my gosh.
A haymaker.
Haymaker.
I mean, and Michael Landon was the father that everyone wished they had. I mean, he was... I've always heard what a wonderful man he was in real life, but that character, and then you playing obviously his favorite child and that relationship.
The daddy-daughter.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was pretty special. It was very much like that off camera too. Our families were really close. His wife, then my Auntie Lynn, and my mom were like 2 peas in a pod. We all vacationed together on spring break. Both families went to Hawaii together. We did holidays together. On New Year's, all the kids would gather either at their house or my house, and the adults would go out. So it was and I slept over at their house a lot. Leslie and Mike Jr. slept over at our house a lot. We did a lot together. And my own father passed away when I was 11. And so Michael, without having a conversation about it, because nobody really talked about stuff back then. This was not the place to talk about it. Fortunately, I had the show to get a lot of it out. Mm-hmm. But Michael became a de facto father figure for me, for sure, after my father passed away. And we didn't really acknowledge it until many, 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 many years later when he was sick. And we got to spend some time together shortly before he passed away, that we sort of acknowledged the fact that there was always something really special between the two of us.
Amazing.
Oh, beautiful. So beautiful.
You know what always fascinates me about shows like back in that time period? Our listeners understand that there are no audiences that size anymore. I mean, back then there were 3 channels. The whole country was watching Little House on the Prairie, almost literally. And for that many years, you're in everybody's home. I can't imagine what that level of fame, not fame, but like recognizability and people thinking they know you. It must have been intense during those years.
It was weird. I mean, Little House went off the air, I think, with 20 million viewers or something ridiculous. That's just unheard of these days.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was pretty lucky. I didn't have a lot of incidents. They kept me very sheltered from a lot of that stuff. There were a couple of moments. One time I was walking in New York City with my mom right at the height of Little House, and I had my hair in pigtails for some reason, which I didn't do in public after this. And I got mobbed, and someone grabbed a chunk of my hair out, and it was like Beatles screaming, mobbing that. And I was, I don't know, 11 or 12, maybe. That was scary. So from then on, we took precautions to keep me kind of under wraps a little bit more. They kept fan mail away from me. I didn't see any of that stuff until I was considerably older, which is a good thing because there was some creepy fan mail. A lot of fan mail from prison, men's prison.
Yeah, everybody says that.
It's so strange when you're, 10.
Could you imagine a whole prison yard watching Little House on the Prairie?
I don't have, that's not a problem. The fan mail is not a problem. It's the love letters to a 10-year-old.
Oh,
that are a
okay.
little odd.
Yes.
Yeah. They didn't want me to see that stuff. And so, I mean, though we had to do like a lot of Hollywood things, like affiliates, dinners and presentations and interviews and talk shows and all that stuff, it was still, my life was, my mom especially tried to keep it as unaffected by that as possible. Like I still had chores when I came home. I still had to empty the dishwasher, babysit my sister, clean up the dog food.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. That's
solid
to me,
family.
That's great.
It's
More
key.
or less, yeah. I mean, they're all a bunch of carnies, so
Quite literally,
Literally
circus folk.
Totally. My dad was absolutely circus folk. Yeah. They knew, and they'd seen it go bad so many times, and they'd seen so many people around them suffer. So they were, I think, really determined to try and keep things as grounded for me as possible. I remember asking my mom once what it was like to be famous, and she looked at me like I'd lost my mind and went, "I'm sorry, what?" And I said, "Wait, what's it like to be famous?" She said, "Like who?" I said, like Farrah Fawcett." She said, "Well, you are." And I said, "No, you do. I mean famous." And she said, "No, but that's you." And I said, "No, but like really so many people know." She said, "But that's you." We'll talk about this another time.
Right. You couldn't piece it together in that way because you were just living the experience, right? You couldn't see outside of yourself because I'm sure you idolized people on TV too, as like you said.
Oh my God.
Like what were the shows you loved when you were that age? Like when you were were you a big TV lover? Were you a big movie lover?
I was definitely a TV kid. I mean, my first love actually was Batman, Adam West, Batman.
Oh yeah,
absolutely
my first love. Like everyone our age, I watched The Brady Bunch and The Partridge Family.
Yep.
Oh yes.
Yep.
I loved medical shows. I loved Medical Center and Emergency and SWAT, the original SWAT.
Right.
With Steve Forrest.
Were you friends with any contemporaries like the Brady Bunch cast or the Partridge Family cast? Were you friends with that bunch of actors that were coming up at the same time?
I did spend a good amount of time with Mary McDonough from the Waltons.
Oh, wow. The Waltons.
Yeah, especially in our adolescence. We spent a lot of time together. We're still friends today. So yeah. And people get us mixed up a lot too.
Gosh, that might be one of my earliest TV memories. A Good Night, John Boy.
Yes.
The end of every
episode.
episode.
Oh my God. Just the dialogue, right? It's all in our, it's like a chip in our brains. But David, we were talking the other day about Battle of the Network Stars. Was that happening at that time? Did you ever do Battle of the Network Stars?
Oh, I did quite a few of them.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh God, we've got to hear. Because don't you feel like that has to come back in some form?
It's a genius idea if you take a bunch of actors and make them compete athletically. First of all, everyone was hurting themselves.
Exactly.
Because they pushed too hard.
You're not athletes.
Everyone is sunburned. And it's so unbalanced and uneven. I remember them when I was a kid, when I first did it, them putting me on an obstacle course racing against women in their 40s. I'm like 10 and I'm an athlete too. I was a dancer. I was an athlete and just racing through the obstacle course and then turning around and thinking, I won, but
I smoked them.
Yeah, totally.
You were like the ringer.
Until I can't remember who it was on the other team had me race against Christy McNichol and she kicked my ass.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I loved her.
Damn.
She was a gnarly athlete. I
believe it.
The weirdest sort of confluence of Battle of the Network Star stuff was the last one I did. I was 17-ish, going on 18. And my future husband, Bruce Boxleitner, who's now my ex, was on the CBS team, and his wife, Kitty, who's still a really dear friend of mine, was there with their 2-year-old son, Sam, who I bounced on my knee because he was the most beautiful baby I'd ever seen. And as a consequence has been my stepson now for over 30 years.
It's so crazy.
So weird. It's so weird. And Kitty loves to tell me about how excited she was that I was there because I was dating Rob Lowe and he was there.
Whoa.
Just hanging out.
Back up. You dated Rob Lowe in like his prime?
80. Yeah. Well, let's see. We're the same age. So age 17 to 23.
I mean,
wow.
It's a classic, a little Hollywood romance.
I mean, those are good bragging rights. I mean,
really? Yeah, I guess.
he was, I mean, didn't every girl in the entire world want to date him?
Oh, but they did. While I was with him.
He went around. Okay.
While you were dating him, he was dating them. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Meanwhile, he's been married for like 30 years, right? He's a real family guy.
Yep, totally. Yeah, to Cheryl, more, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
I too have been married over 30 years. It's just 3 different husbands.
Hey, whatever it takes.
Cumulative.
Hey, Art, so should we take a quick break and then come back and keep talking to Melissa?
Yeah. Let's let our amazing sponsor say something and we'll be right back.
First of all, this is going by too quickly, and I know we can't keep you on here forever, and there's so many things that I want to talk to you about. First of all, I want to talk to you about Modern Prairie because I checked it out, and this is so great. How long has this been? If anybody doesn't know, why don't you give it a plug, and then we can, I just want to hear how it all came about for you.
Modern Prairie is a lifestyle brand geared towards we call her the seasoned woman, basically women over a certain age, maybe over 40, 50 and up really is our focus. And of course, there's a retail component to it. We sell a lot of products. Our products all have a story. They're not just like things to sell for the sake of selling them. And the majority of our makers are small businesses owned by women. So we're promoting women's entrepreneurship. And then also, though, there's another component to it that doesn't really exist in other lifestyle brands. And that's this sort of community thing that we've started building. We have an app and we hold free events where we have brought in experts on everything from watercolor painting and quilting to our grief counseling expert, my best friend, Sandy Peckinpah. We do bi-weekly heart-to-heart meetings where the women can share about walking through grief in their lives and sort of the hope of getting through the other end. We just started a caregiver circle where we're bringing in experts that the women can talk to about caregiving for partners, parents, sometimes children who are struggling physically, emotionally, and to give support to the women who are caregivers. We have recipes. We have a chef. We're having our first big in-person gathering in September at an event called Garden of Quilts in Salt Lake City. And that'll be all of our experts will be there having in-person seminars. And it started out as an idea. My partner and I, Nicole Hazy, and I started talking about my business partner. And we felt like it would be a really great business idea. But then it sort of grew into something way more emotional and important. And so it exceeded our wildest expectations. And so basically now what we do is our retail side of it funds all of these free events. That's what enables us to open up this community to women marginalized. You know how, it happens. We get older and we just get kind of pushed aside as invaluable and unimportant.
Yeah. And what is this next chapter for you? What is this? Or what is now what? Now that the kids are out, now that, you're in a new stage in your life. And then it's you put it perfectly, marginalized in a way that we don't want to feel, and we're not. And so to have this space
it's so
is
crazy. Yeah.
And you don't want to feel alone too. It's nice that you're giving a community so that people don't feel like they're going through it by themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the most important thing of all is to know that you're not the only one, and to share like they do in 12-step programs too, your experience, strength, and hope of where you've been. And, you know, some of the women are older than all of us that have been through a lot and still need us. And, you know, there are women who are going through cancer treatments right now in our group, and we're surrounding them. There's this beautiful thing that happens in a community of elephants when a female elephant is unwell. She's surrounded by all the other female elephants, and they stand around her until she feels better. And that's sort of the metaphor for what we're doing for one another in this community. It's pretty awesome. We're helping each other find jobs if we need jobs. Where it's my favorite thing right now is that some of the women are starting to meet each other without prompting. They're gathering in coffee shops and at tulip festivals and having their own little Zooms together. And that makes me so happy.
What a gift.
It sounds amazing. It sounds like something that's a passion, but that's something that the world really needs. It checks so many boxes.
It checks a lot of boxes, and it's a viable business. I mean, we are both, you know, business women. Nicole certainly is. She was, you know, she ran tabletop at Williams-Sonoma for years, and she was at ModCloth for years. And so this is her field of expertise, and it's growing and growing and growing, which we love. But it's the community that keeps us grounded. And we reach out to them. I mean, Nicole just had surgery. I'm not going to get into nothing major. She's fine. But the community was supporting her through her surgery and recovery, which is great. I just had my 61st birthday, and they were there saying 61 is nothing. You got this. Go get them. You know, it's
so magical how that works when you have a community, a support system, and women are pretty spectacular when they show up for each other, and it's really meaningful. I saw something, an interview that you had done where you talked where because I just also love the name modern Prairie, and how it really, that, you know, the way you tied it to Little House and why that show resonated so much for people was because it was about love and family and connection and, you know, and community. And I just think that it's such an incredible way to, you know, continue the legacy of something so unique and powerful.
It definitely thank you. It definitely ties in. And, you know, with the invention of the internet, we do have access to so many things we never had before, but it does enable us to silo ourselves away from one another a little more. And so we're hoping to create this community where we can get out of that space and really share what's important and what really matters. And the one thing I will say is there's not a lot of room for tiny talk on our app. The women get right down to it. I mean,
they go deep. They go deep
and they go fast. You say menopause, someone yells vagina. It's like
before they say nice to meet you.
I love it.
Exactly. And it's always valuable information too.
Oh gosh. The other thing we have to talk about is your Hallmark world now.
That's right. I'm on a show.
Yes, you're on a show. And I also heard you, and you know, I did a little investigating because I wanted to have some interesting. You said, and this was crazy to me, that first of all, the clip that I saw that's on your Instagram is that with Jack Wagner?
Yes.
It's you and Jack Wagner?
Oh, no way.
Come on.
I was brought in as Jack's new love interest. I tell people I'm not an ingenue, I'm an old genue.
You should patent that. Copyright that phrase.
I have to watch this because I loved seeing you two together. I like it, just like two of my favorites. But you said that Michael Landon Jr. is your boss, but he was also your real life prom date. when you were
Prom
doing
date, yeah.
So
Oh,
how does that feel in the come full circle of life?
It's insane. I mean, I can't, it just keeps going and going. I texted him yesterday with a when calls the heart. That's the show with the when calls the heart question. And every time I text him, I say, hey boss. And I ask him a question. And again, we've been friends for over 50 years. And he wrote me back and he answered the question. And then the next text came in and said, someday when this show ends, I hope you'll still call me boss because it makes me laugh every time. It's great because it's like home. And also when I go to Vancouver to the set and I walk in and it's this old town, I feel like
it's a period piece
so
again.
Crazy. And there I am, even though it's 1920, I'm still I made the decision to put my character in a corset for a myriad of reasons. And so none of which were smart because of it. But it looks good. And the lace up shoes and just the whole vibe that I have going in there with my hair up and, that carrying a little bit of the late 1800s into the early 1900s. It's like going home. It's a strange and wonderful feeling. And I'm very excited to go back. And I'll be back and forth to Vancouver a bit more, I think, this year.
Wonderful. Oh, I have to watch it now because it just seems like it's so fun.
It's a really fun, romantic, it's a lovely, lovely show. And the great thing about it is it reminds me so much of the Little House cast because everybody loves each other so much. They actually hang out together when they're not shooting. They've been together for 13 years. You'd think they'd be sick of each other. But no, they do things. They go to each other's weddings. They support each other. They have dinners. It's a nice job.
Oh, so cool. So cool. All right, one last question. I promise. Yeah. And then as we talked about in our little break, we have to have you back because I don't even think we talked about one thing in the 90s. We talked about the 80s. We talked about
there's a lot of 90s cred here.
We've got to go back to the 90s, but I do want to ask you about something, and this is a serious question because another thing I saw you post about and is misophonia. And this is something that I have to be really honest. Our daughter, who's 23, there's been no sort of official diagnosis, but she looked up when she was having issues with certain sounds, with chewing, clicking, rappers in a theater, certain, like the level of angst and boiling point that she would get to and does get to often. She looked up the term, which you said when you struggled with it, it didn't even have a term. It didn't even have a name, right? Misophonia. David, do you know what misophonia is?
I've never heard of that.
Melissa, tell us a little bit about this because I really feel like you're not alone. I having a child too, and I love what you had to say about it because you've been doing work with Duke, right?
Yes, with the program at Duke University. In fact, I just had a meeting with them yesterday to talk about next steps, not for myself because I've gone through the program. But let me just tell you quickly. I'll back up. Misophonia is neither a disorder. It's not a hearing disorder, and it's not necessarily a psychological disorder. It falls somewhere in between in sort of the OCD category. And it is what happens is there are certain sounds that trigger certain people who have this, and the sound it triggers a fight or flight reaction. I have that. So for me, it's chewing, crunching, wrappers, chips and potato chips, popcorn in the movies. Mexican restaurants were anathema to me because of the chips. And I've had it my whole life. And all I want to do is either strangle the person who's making the noise or run away. And my solution is you can't do either. So I would just glare at people with hate, which is not a solution.
You would just be miserable inside. Yes.
How strange for the person to go, Melissa Gilbert hates me and I don't know why.
She's
glaring
a death stare.
Someone would be sitting behind me, innocently eating popcorn, and I literally would go.
I have misophonia.
In the meantime, it had no name. I just thought I was a horrible human being, which is a problem. And I would hear in my head, this voice in my head would say, who raised you? Why do you chew like that? What kind of a pig? I mean, like the worst things you could think about a stranger.
Yeah.
And about 4 or 5 years ago, I was Google searching, and this name came up, Misophonia. And I started reading about it and went, that's me. I have this thing. Well, there's no treatment for it yet. Mm-hmm. And so last year, maybe the year before, I decided to Google it again to see if there was anything new. And there was treatment at the Duke Center for, I believe it's emotional regulation. It's PsychMer. So it's Duke mm-hmm. and Misophonia. And I signed up and did a 16-week program of cognitive behavioral therapy, which is, really step by step exposure therapies, mindfulness, meditations, and came up with a bunch of coping skills for when it happens. And then also the work was to understand that the feelings I was feeling were just feelings, and they would come and they would go. And now I have certain things I do to help that, and changed my life. Like night and day changed my life. It doesn't go away. It never goes away, but there's ways to cope with it. And some people have it so bad that they start attaching it to things and sounds and people and places. They end up agoraphobic and unable to leave their homes because they're afraid of
debilitating. Wow.
It can be that debilitating. Really hard on parents who have kids with it when they're little, because they don't know, and especially adolescents, because adolescence is hard enough. Your kids hate you anyway, and then they hate you even more because you breathe or you make a
chewing. Because you're chewing. You're chewing and you're eating an apple.
Yeah, everybody has to do it, or you're tapping a pen on a table and they want to kill you.
I thought when I read that about you and how involved, I just thought that was so incredible, because it's just something that if you know, like if you know someone who sort of suffers from it, and it is suffering in a way, like you said, it's something that you can't help. It elicits this response from you, like viscerally, and so I'm fascinated, and I maybe we'll talk more about it offline.
I would love to. Actually, that would be fantastic, because because there's a lot to say and a lot of people don't know about it. And of course, needless to say, they've lost all their government funding. So they're research into alternative cures and getting the word out there. Their budget has been slashed, and now it's all based on philanthropic contributions, which has made it for
like all of our. I have all of our it's off. It's so upsetting.
Can I just ask you real quick about, you said your biggest crush was Adam West, but the Batman animated series was a big deal in the 90s. Yeah. You played Batgirl.
I did.
What was it like to play Batgirl?
Dream job.
Okay.
First of all, just to be in the Batverse.
Exactly.
The girl who, I was so in love with Adam West as Batman when I was little. I wanted to grow up and marry him, but I realized that he's so much older than me. I should probably marry Robin. I mean, that's how focused I was on that.
There was nothing sexy about Robin.
No, I know, but I mean, just to stay in the Batverse.
It was having access to the Batverse.
Just anything, just to be near Batman. Like he was real also.
Right.
And so when I got the call, and it was an offer, I didn't even have to audition to voice Barbara Gordon / Batgirl in the animated series. I was so excited. And then when they told me who else was doing it, I was like fangirling all over the place. First of all, my friend Kevin Conroy, who I'd done a movie with, was Batman. So I knew him. I knew Lauren Lester, who was Robin, but Mark Hamill is the Joker and Adrienne Barbeau is Catwoman. And we all recorded together.
You did?
Oh, really? Like a table read, like live
like a
performance.
radio show.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. The easiest job in the world. It would take, I don't know, 2 hours to do 3 episodes or something. Go in for a day, hang out with all of these incredibly talented people, be Batgirl. I have a doll. There's a doll. I mean, it's the animated version, but that's me. That's
so
cool.
Action figure.
And empowering for young girls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she's great. She's a great character. She's very independent. She was very tough, very strong. Both Barbara Gordon and her alter ego, both Batgirl and Barbara Gordon. It was really fun to do.
That is
amazing.
the I feel like the mother load job, getting a voiceover audition. I mean, a voiceover job, because forget it. Auditioning for them, David and I have talked about it. We don't get them. We've auditioned. We just don't get them. You have to be asked. You have to know somebody. And then once you get it, it is like the jackpot. It seems like the most ideal, the most fun. You get to play and do and not have to worry about cameras or anything.
We have voiceover envy.
We do have voiceover envy.
No, it's really fun. And I miss it, especially now that I'm older. I'll tell you, I hate HD. Oh. It's the worst.
It's the worst.
It's so unfair. Why they came up with it now?
I know. Why not Little House in HD? Right?
Yes, I would have liked it at 9. Then I would have been used to it. It's like it's a shock to. I'm at that age too where I don't know what 61 is supposed to be. I really don't, because it's different than it was. I'm not 61 like my grandma was or like my mom was. I'm just a different 61. And I forget that that's the number of years that I have. And then I will look in the mirror and go, oh, right. Yeah. That's 61. Okay.
No,
it's
that
61.
is not what we're seeing.
You make it look good. Yeah, you look beautiful.
And you're the envy of all 61-year-olds. Let's put it that way.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks. I'm an old Janu.
An old Janu. That is so funny.
Old Janu. I want a t-shirt.
I know.
You guys,
Melissa,
we got to wrap it up.
So great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, I had a blast.
You'll please come back and we can actually talk about the 90s, the fun 90s and your movies of the week and all the good, juicy things that happened in the 90s.
Oh boy, did I have fun in the 90s. Yes, we can definitely.
This will be the little appetizer for our audience.
Exactly. A snack.
A little snack. But this was the best. It was so much fun talking to you, meeting you. Say hi to Tim. And
I definitely will. I definitely will.
Talk offline and connect. And I would love that. I would love that and love to say hi in person when you guys are.
And Melissa, thank you for being such a great advocate and protector of actors and our union. We never even got into it, but
I know.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you.
We love you.
Rockstar.
Thank you, you guys. This was great. Yeah. I'll see you soon, I hope.
Yes. That was so great. What a great interview. I have to say, it's so fun when we have people on the show who we know but have never met. And because I feel like we bring so many friends on and that's a different kind of interview. But to me, I just feel like I've known her my whole life.
Wait, you haven't met her?
No, that was
it sounded like you guys were old friends.
No. That was the first time we officially met, but knew Tim a little and we share the same publicist. So we have people in common, but that was really the first time we met.
Oh my God. She's done so much. And by the way, she looks incredible. She's so pretty.
I know. When she says an old Janu, I'm like, okay, well then if that's the standard for 61, we should all pack it in.
I hope we're all like that.
I know. But super cool.
But yeah,
you're right.
That was fun.
Really did not even get to most of the 90s stuff. But like I said, we gave you guys all a little taster, and we'll definitely have Melissa back. I feel like this is going to be fun to have people back as we continue along.
Well, thank you for bringing her on, and thanks everyone for listening. Next Tuesday, we have another great guest. I'm so excited. Follow us at Hey Dude, the 90s Called. Watch us on YouTube and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And feel free to share these episodes with any friends or family that you think would be interested in going back to the 90s with us.
Thanks, everyone.